So I'm Eleanor. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm going to work on origami. During social distancing and quarantine, I've been trying to teach myself.
I'm Becs. I use they, them, or he, him pronouns. I'm going to be just like doing some drawing. I have some markers and this giant piece of paper because I love doing things giant.
What kind of art were you interested in during high school? And what are you interested in now?
I made a lot of music in high school. I was in this like little band with my best friend called Rose and Riot. I played guitar and we would harmonize and it was really fun. And I also did a bunch of theater and some visual art too. And I baked like a lot of cupcakes. I've been making a lot of jewelry lately, which has been so fun. Like it was wild because I made like this piece that I was like wearing out and about to like dance parties and stuff. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, can you make me one?" And then I just went to this like amazing like bead store and they were just like so nice and they taught me all this stuff. So I've been making jewelry, which has been so fun. Bead World. And apparently I was talking to my mom. She's like, "Oh, you totally went there when you were like 11 to 13 and you loved it." And I was like, "No way." Full circle. Now adult me is like going back there. What about you?
Well, right now, I recently started an art club and it's a little
Nice.
Right now. So a lot of people in the club all do different things, which is kind of fun. And I like to embroider and knit, but I used to, in middle school especially, really love theater, and I still do. I just have fewer opportunities. I'm in my drama club, which is fun at school.
What was your most pivotal arts moment?
I was in a play. I was auditioning for a play. It was Anne of Green Gables, and I really, really wanted Anne. Not because I'm always chasing the lead, but just like really identified there. My director thought that I would be better doing the role of Rachel, and if we're not all familiar with it, she's this neighbor and she's very gossipy. And I was crushed at first, and then I just got into the role and I really gave it my all. So I think it's how I can let what I do in my art simulate how I should be in my real life. That was just a pivotal learning experience.
That is so deep. I've been thinking about what my most pivotal art moment was. I was a part of this like festival called Gatas y Vatas, which is usually based out of Albuquerque, but they came up to Seattle. And I got to do this performance where I like wore this like wedding dress that I like ripped apart, and I got to like paint these like giant paintings. Then my friend like poured macaroni all over the painting. It was wild. And then I got to hold this person's hand that I totally had a crush on. And we just had this cute moment. And I don't know, it was just like this moment. I was probably like 20, 21. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, the community was there. It was totally feminist, like totally radical. And like, I was like, this is what I want to be doing. Like, these are the spaces that I want to be in. Like, everyone's performances were so like weird and interesting and radical. And like, I got to make all these friends. And I feel like it was a pivotal moment for me because I was just like, oh my God, I belong. Like, it felt like one of the first spaces where I was like, these are my people, which felt like a big deal. So yeah.
Okay, I guess my turn to ask a question. Why is arts access an essential human right?
I feel like expression of any form is essential to being human or just to connecting. I don't think it's as important to like everyone, but I think like art is also this like can be a point of like connection and community. And I think those things are so critical to like being human. Art and culture are, you know, like woven together in both so important. And like I think that when people are given the space to like express their own culture or create culture, it can be like really like grounding and revolutionary. To be honest, I couldn't really like imagine a world without artistic expression. Like I don't know what, because I think that art is so much more than like a drawing or a painting or something like this.
It's almost more about the community it brings, but also just the agency to express oneself that I think is important, and everyone needs that in whatever form it may take in their own life. I struggle making mistakes, so I think art is a place where I feel it's okay to make mistakes. So that's what really helps me about art. Yeah.
Art can be the space where it's like, cool, I'm just gonna like try something out, and who can say if it's like good or bad? Like, what is taste? I think is really interesting. Why is it important for young people to engage in art in general and specifically right now?
We can really connect with each other and
Yeah.
see other people's experience through what they're creating and putting out into the world, because we're all sort of, quarantining, social distancing. It can be really easy to forget that other people are living their lives and having experiences that are different from your own. So it's just like an important practice, I think, to be able to look at art and say, oh, this is how other people are functioning in the world right now. Yeah, it's just empathy, I think, is a big part of it. And I think we need empathy. Yeah. What about you? What do you?
Agreed. I think that like young people are generally most in tune to like what's relevant. Oh, I keep seeing this like tweet that's going around that's like, oh, people who don't think like arts funding or art is important, like, what are you doing right now? Watching TV, like listening to music, like baking or whatever. And I think that like that was important for me to see because I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like the work that I do is important. And I was thinking about activism, and one of my favorite writers, Adrienne Marie Brown, says that all like social justice or activism is science fiction. And I just think that it's so true that like creativity and visioning is like what is needed to create a world that is better. It's so important to like have creative solutions that like keep
Mm-hmm.
all people in mind, not just like the upper echelons of people who have power.
How have you seen the definition of art change during your career and arts going experience?
When I first started making art, I thought of it more as like, oh, I paint a painting, or oh, I do a play. But now I feel like art can be like so much more than like the physical or material reality of what's like being produced or whatnot, that it can be like in the glamour of a wig or in the glamour of a sparkle or like something like this. So I think it's broadened as I've done different like sort of community organizing work. My understanding of how the two like connect has deepened. Have you seen it change?
Mostly the definition of art changing has been in my head. And I
Okay.
also think that it's just like becoming broader. I think I used to think of art when I was really little as like the drawings and paintings and sculptures and things like that. But now I definitely see it in even just like how people get dressed every day.
Totally.
Yeah, just choose to express themselves that way. So I think that it's all just these different means of self-expression that people use and organizations use too.
Okay. What kind of art are you watching or engaging in now to sustain yourself?
In terms of art I've been engaging in, I started my art club while we were doing like this whole virtual school thing. And I think we're going to try to get an artist to come in and just talk to us and maybe do some sort of demonstration. And I was watching this documentary and it was pretty cool. And like they had a bunch of really cool aerial drone footage of people biking. And I
Whoa.
like that because it's just interesting to see things from a perspective that I don't normally look at them. And that was really fun.
You know what I've been doing lately as a way to sustain myself is like really like spending more time cooking things. Oh my God. And I've also been listening to Justin Bieber. I know I'm like 10 years late. I know Justin Bieber has been around, but his music is so like, it's so joyous. Like I was like driving to the grocery store with my little mask, my little gloves, and I was listening to Justin Bieber. I was like, do I have a care in the world? Probably not. Like Justin Bieber is playing, he's singing to my soul. He's got this tender voice, the voice of an angel. And another cute thing that's been happening is my friends have been sending me their zines. And then I've been sending friends my zines. So that's been such a cute like little exchange. It's nice to like get a little book.
Yeah, do you think like the way that we will consume art as a society will change because of all of this? Like
Yeah,
our yeah, thinking about that.
I think so. I think what's really cool is I feel like it's normalizing more accessible art, like via the internet and like via live streaming and stuff. Like, and I think that's super important. And just like, yeah, expanding like possibilities for people who can't go to an event or don't want to go to an event, like in person or things like that. I think it's like gonna normalize that. What's a bummer is I think it's super financially impacting like most artists. Trying to think what other ways. What do you think? How do you see it changing things?
Yeah. And I was talking about this with some of my friends too. And I think it's like there's a lot of effort in going out and like doing stuff for a lot of people, like
Yeah.
in a lot of different situations. So I think it's that internet accessibility that is really key in making art more accessible.
Yeah.
Um, but I was thinking about like all the art that's had to be canceled.
Yeah, and I think like kind of like what we were talking about, I feel like certain forms of art are more like natural or like the transition to online is like
Mhm.
easier or more natural while as like theater it's like the whole point not the whole point but one of the points is like to be in the room, so that's kind of like a hard part of it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
How's your origami coming? Did you make anything?
Oh, I made my butterfly. It's hard to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my god, how did you do that? Is how many steps does it take?
not very many. I tried to learn something more complicated the other day, and it didn't go too well. So now I've just been mastering the butterfly.
Well, it's been really good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been really nice to meet you and talk to you too.